But without any further ado, let's jump into some sleepers for UFC Long Island.
It's time for some fight night.
If you ain't paying attention, you're gonna sleep on me and I'm gonna wake you up.
All right, AJ. So there are a lot of good fights here this weekend, right? But the one key difference that we have here is that there are a lot of these UFC veterans now, right? These dudes who had such high hopes, had high promise, had so much hype. Maybe didn't live up to it quite as much as, they would like to. Maybe these are Dana White Contender Series products who were kind of brought on to fill out the roster a little bit. But we have a good sleeper. You have a good sleeper, brother, that I want to talk about right here. And this is Dwight Grant, the body snatcher Grant versus Dustin Stoltzfus. So if you look combined between these two, I mean, listen, 2 and 3 is Dwight Grant in his last 5. 2 and 3 is Dustin Stoltzfus in his last 5. But if you look at the difference between these two, right, you'll see. Let me pull this out the way. You'll see we have Sergey Konza. I don't even remember this dude fighting him. I actually do remember that fight happening. It was an interesting one, but this is kind of a out of nowhere type dude, right? You look before that, Francisco Trinaldo, split decision loss. Okay, we got a legend. The win before that, Stefan Sekulic. All right on. But look at this. It was Gerald Mearschart, right? That was a close fight that Dustin Stoltzfus was winning until he wasn't. Then you have Rodolfo Vieira, where he was kind of winning. Not really, actually. He was kind of getting his ass kicked in that fight. But before that, Kyle Dawkins. Both tough opposition for both of these fighters is the point that I'm trying to make. Now this is a make it or break it fight for these two, man. This is a career-making fight. Talk to me, brother. Why is this a sleeper? Is what I said, does that factor into it, or do you have other analysis for this?
Oh, 100%, Derek. I mean, this is a fight. We always talk about it when your back's against the wall. How do you perform? And usually people that are, especially both Dwight Grant and Dustin Stoltzfus, have been known to perform very highly. At one point in their career, they're very highly touted, looking to be a prospect, looking to get the fights going. All this stuff was working in their favor. And just sometimes you meet a guy who's better. That day, that night, whatever the case is, that's how it unfolded in the cards for them. But both of these fighters need the win to stay relevant. They're both very dangerous, very well-rounded. And in my opinion, Stoltzfus, he's better on the ground. Grant's a little bit better on the feet. And anytime, I hear the body snatchers fighting, especially a dog like Dustin Stoltzfus, my ears perk up. I'm like, oh, shit, we got a battle on our hands. We're going to see some blood in this fight. We're going to see a finish, hopefully. I mean, you never really know, but I think a finish is coming, man. And it's going to be a very fun and exciting fight. It might start off a little slow. They're both fighters going to feel each other out. But once it gets going, it's going to get going hot and heavy, man. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I'm very excited for this fight, Derek. What do you think? I mean, you hit the nail on the head. With those opponents and how things unfolded for them, it really is a matter of we need to perform and win, or we might get cut. And that's what I think kind of puts it all on the line right here. Do you agree with me?
I absolutely agree with you, but that's what gives me a little bit of pause in this matchup because an ideal matchup between Stoltzfus and Grant, we have a war of attrition right here. We have back and forth nonstop, but because the jobs are on the line, it makes me think Dustin Stoltzfus, he's 30 years old, right? He has a lot more time to continue his career. Dwight Grant, on the other hand, 37 years old. Is Dwight Grant going to immediately say, I just got to knock this dude's block off and keep it pushing? Does Dustin Stoltzfus say, I need a win, bro. I'm going to wrestle? That's what he came into the UFC doing. He was this great German wrestler, and then he decided he wanted to be some kickboxer. So it's going to be interesting to see, but I absolutely agree with you, my man. I think that this is going to be an interesting play right here for sure. Now, folks, I have a fun sleeper here that is not necessarily along the same cloth, but this is one of those where it could be a main card bout for sure, right? So let's talk about it. The sleeper I got, I'm rocking with Dustin Jacoby, the Hanyak, versus Da Un Jung. And for a lot of people, they might be familiar with Dustin Jacoby because he's been fighting more often recently because he's now in the rankings. But then you hear Da Un Jung and you're like, who is this guy? But look at the records. 17-5-1 for Jacoby. If you look at the last couple outings, Michael Alexichuk, great Polish boxer. He was able to get a decision on him. John Alon, decision right there. Darren Stewart knocked him out. You have a split decision. Looks like it ended up being a draw, something like that, versus Yanku Talaba and then Maxime Grisham. Great hit list over here for Da Un Jung, though, brother. Kennedy and Chekwu knocked the man out, right? Look at how dangerous the man is. Knocked him out. William Knight decisioned him. Sam Alvey got one of those split decision draws. Mike Rodriguez knocked him out. Khadis Ibrahimov and guillotined him. And I can't tell you enough how impressive that hit list is for Da Un Jung, which is why he is rightfully so. You'll see the betting odds. He's a underdog here, but if you look at the current betting odds right now, he is a favorite. Because that's why when I picked this sleeper, I said Da Un Jung. He's the underdog. Wait, hold on. Something's not right here. You guys don't know about this guy. Basically, the story of these guys, two behemoths, two monsters, 6'3", 6'4", respectively, long arms. and knockout power between them both. I mean, Dustin Jacoby, he is a bona fide glory kickboxing, veteran, man. This dude came purely from kickboxing, came over to MMA, has been able to translate well, stuff takedowns, be able to work his game a little bit. So this is going to be a matter of technical precision, leg kick, stuff like that. So, some stuff that Dustin Jacoby hasn't quite been incorporating into his game as of late because of injuries and things of that nature. And Jung is going to simply look to either wrestle a little bit or knock the block off, man. So I like this sleeper because this is going to be a bona fide test of who deserves that kind of bottom end spot in the top 15 in the light heavyweight rankings. We need new blood, right? We have the Yuri Prochazkas, but that's not enough. We need some new blood to cycle in so we can get more title contenders. This isn't going to be a fight for title contention, but this is going to be a bona fide fight to see who deserves to be ranked here. Think about it. Jacoby has 14 next to his name. Jung unranked. So this guy's taking a risk. It'll be fun. What do you think of the matchup, brother?
Derek, this is a fan-friendly fight right here, man. This one's going to be a blast. And in fact, when I saw you post it in the Slack chat, I was like, damn, that's a good fight. Like, shit, I wish I had that one as a sleeper because you're right, man. This is one of those ones that sure doesn't have a lot of, emphasis on it. Not a lot of people really know what's going on. Dustin Jacoby kind of has fallen off a little bit, but if you know who this dude is, man, he can absolutely slug him out. Same thing with Jung, man. This dude's an absolute battler, it's going to be a very, very fun fight. I'm excited for. And you lock these two big boys in a cage. You're expecting greatness all the time. It's going to be a very fun fight to watch, folks. Tune into the prelims. How many times we got to tell you, man? Tune into the prelims, but especially these fights right here, they're going to be a blast.
And once again, the whole entire purpose of us doing the sleeper segment isn't just to be like, hey, I want to identify this. It's to say, hey, folks, you don't want to watch the prelims? Okay, well, at least check out these fights. These fights are going to be worth your time. That is the entire point. So I understand. And AJ, I think we can actually take a step back for a second and say, at the end of the day, brother, not everybody has time to sit there and watch all the prelim fights and the main. You get off work, you're like, oh, I could catch the main card real fast. Boom. I don't really want to go back and watch. I already know the outcome. Some people, they're like, if I know the outcome, I don't want to watch the fight. It's not worth it. I'm not that way. You're not that way. But do you agree that there was a point in your life where you couldn't watch all of the prelim fights?
Oh yeah, man. There's always, some life happens, stuff's unfolding. Sometimes you can't catch them, which it makes sense. But sometimes those fights are worth it. Yeah. Or you better put an alarm on your phone and say, oh, it's 7:30. Oh shit, Jacoby's fighting. All right, time to tune in real quick. Put life on pause real fast. Just 15 minutes, not that long.
There you go, not too bad. And then at the end of the day, the prelim fighters are going to be the stars of tomorrow. We're identifying the stars of tomorrow. So you know what time it is. Bloody Water Podcast, your favorite fighter's favorite fight show. You know what time it is, folks.